Most people that write nonfiction books want to use their book to get paid speaking engagements on the back end. Many of the authors that we work with want to write a book, turn that book into a speech, and use that speech to get more speaking gigs. And we also have people who are already doing speaking gigs, but want to create a book to have an additional source of revenue and to improve their credibility. Okay, what I want to show you right now is how you can use a book to turn that into paid speaking gigs on repeat. And I'm going to get very tactical here because I've broken down a few similar yet different ways that you can use a book to generate paid speaking engagements. And I've broken it down into the pre-launch, the during launch, and then the post-launch. Because I believe that if you are writing a book, you can actually start to get paid before the book's even out. And this is where the mindset shifts happen, is you don't have to wait till your book's out to start getting paid as a speaker. You don't have to wait till your book's out to claim the authority, to claim the credibility of somebody who's got a book coming out. And so I'm going to break this down. Here's how we're going to use a book in the pre-launch phase to then generate paid speaking engagements. Step number one is, in order for this strategy to work, you must be committed to writing a book. This might sound like an obvious one, but the truth is, if you aren't committed to writing the book, it's going to be very hard to leverage the book or deliver on the book in the form of speaking engagement. So step number one in the pre-launch phase of using a book to generate paid speaking gigs is to commit to writing a book. Now, as you are writing the book, most people, what they do is they wait until the book's completely done and they're announcing it. This is where I think there's a huge opportunity, is as you are writing and you're going through the process, document your entire journey. So after you finish your rough draft, after your book goes to editing, after your book is getting cover design, when you write the first chapter, when you complete an incredible story, document the journey along the way, because it brings people along with you and it opens people's minds to what you're actually working on. Okay. And that's a really important thing. If people don't know what it is that you're doing, or they don't know why they should be hiring you, then this is a great way to do that. So as you're going through, you're talking about your book experience, you're talking about the journey. Talk about what the book's actually about as well. So this is where we call milestone versus educational content. Milestone is that journey. Educational content is what the book's actually about, that shows people you're knowledgeable, that shows people you're on video, that you're a great speaker, that shows people, oh, I could see myself hiring them and bringing them in. Next, now that you've seeded it, you're writing a book, you're sharing what the book's about, now tap into your existing network, okay? Tap into your existing network. If you're in the corporate world, great. If you're in the online coaching space, great. Whatever industry you're in, tap into your existing network of people who are in the space you want to be speaking in. So for example, when I released Big Idea to Bestseller, I wanted to focus a lot on doing speaking engagements for high-level entrepreneurial communities. So I reached out to my existing network, and what I started doing was I said, hey, my book's coming out. My book's coming out. I would love to speak to your audience. What that did was it secured gigs to prep for the launch. But what it also did was it secured gigs that once the book came out, I already had bookings and I was going to be on stages, podcasts, etc. So you're going to write the book in the pre-launch phase. You're going to talk about the book, both the journey of it and what you're doing. You're going to reach out to your existing network, and then you're going to start framing yourself as somebody who has a book coming soon. You're not lying and saying your book's already out. You're saying, hey, my debut book, my next book is coming out and it's all about this. I would love to speak to your community. And what you're doing is you're planting the seed and you're starting it. And what we see is that a lot of people who do this are able to increase their podcast awareness, increase their speaking engagements, land paid gigs before their book's even out, get pre-orders of their book at high volume of sales, because they are embodying what it means to be an author. That's the pre-launch. Next, and like I said, some of these strategies are very similar, but next, let's talk about the during launch. So when you actually release your book, okay, I always tell people this, you are never going to be more interesting than when you release a book. Why? Because our society views people who release books as this huge, huge, huge accomplishment, which it is. But when people say you're an author, it's like, whoa, it's an incredible, incredible, incredible feeling. Okay. And so what you're going to do here is you're going to write the book. Okay. Then, and you can do this simultaneously, but you can craft your signature talk. Okay. Now we have speaker coaches who help people take their book and then turn it into a keynote so that they can start to really hone their craft and have something that really, really makes a lot of sense for them. And now what you're going to do is you're going to reach out again. You're going to reach out to your existing network. Now the framing of this is a little bit different because now you have the book. And so what you want to do is you want to reach out to your existing network. Okay. And these could be your really close people, your ride or dies. These could be acquaintances. These could be people you've worked with in the past, people that will pick up your call essentially. And you say, hey, I have a book that just released. Okay, I'm so excited about it. It's about XYZ, and I think it would be incredible to bring to your audience. I'm actually booking my speaking tour and my book tour. I'd love for you guys to consider me for XYZ. Okay, and you can do this in a variety of ways. You can say your book's out and you're doing a book tour. Would you like to bring me to speak? You can say, hey, my book just came out. I'd love to be on your podcast. Depending on the medium that you're trying to speak, that is going to be a very important thing to do. But during launch, you have a lot of juice, a lot of momentum. And so what we've seen a lot of people do is they say, hey, my book just came out. And this is what we encourage our clients to do. Hey, my book just came out. Okay, it's about XYZ. I'm going on my book tour. I'd love to come to your company and speak. Is this something that you're open to? And it's somebody in your network. So it's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And that's when then you negotiate the terms. Okay, and you can negotiate the terms in a variety of ways. A lot of people during their launch will speak in exchange for a ton of book sales. Okay, this is how you can sell 100, 200, 500 copies of your book, depending on where you're speaking at, what event, what organization. You can do a speaking fee plus book sales. You could do just a speaking fee. You could speak for free and then sell something at the back of the room. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about this, but it's never easier than when you have a book launch coming out to get people's attention and to get them to be like, oh, yeah, we should consider this. Your new book just came out. It's when you're hot, it's when you're hyped, it's when things are going your way, okay? So that's during the launch, how to take advantage of it and land a ton of speaking engagements. What we've seen people do is take this onto international book tours because of this, and that's building their brand in the process, that's growing their audience, that's introducing them to new people, okay? Because people want to support you. That's the other thing you got to remember. You just released a book. People are going to want to support you, okay? Let's talk about now post-launch. Because the truth is, once you launch your book, that's the end of one adventure and the beginning of another. Meaning, you just spent all this time and energy creating the book, and that's incredible. But just because you finished your book doesn't mean your book's going to take off. You now need to talk about the book. You need to leverage the book. And now you have the best asset in the world. Now go use it. And so now we talk about the post-launch. Okay? So now in the post-launch, you've launched your book. The initial momentum might be slowing down a little bit, but you're pumped. You got your book and you know that this book is the key to your business, the key to your speaking. So here's what you would do. Take the book, turn that into a keynote and a workshop. I typically like to encourage people at the baseline to have one keynote address, one workshop. Some people will say you want to have multiple keynotes, multiple workshops. I just like to say, let's get the basics covered right off the bat, okay? You need to have a signature talk, okay? And so then what you're going to do is once you've crafted that, you have your signature talk developed, you're going to make a list of 100 people, okay? This can be existing network. This could be new people, people that are partners, people that are event coordinators, event managers, program directors, executive directors, okay, depending on where you're trying to land these paid speaking gigs. And make a list of 100 people. And this is just a start. You're going to make a list of 100 people, okay? And you can use a platform like Apollo.io to find these people. You can use LinkedIn, free or Sales Navigator. You can search on Instagram using hashtags. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can find these different people that you want to partner with or reach out to. And then what you're going to do is you're going to reach out to them and you're going to say, and you're going to offer them a free copy of your book. Okay. Now I know you might be like, Jake, you want me to reach out to 100 people and give away 100 copies of my book? I just worked so hard. I invested time, energy, and money. I want to be making money, not spending money. And I hear you. But to give a $3 book in exchange for a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 speech, that's worth it all day long. And so what you're going to do, write the book, turn into a talk, make a list of 100 people, reach out and offer to give them a copy of your book. Why? Because your book directly relates to your speaking. And your speaking is what you ultimately want them to hire you for. So give the teaser in the book, and then they'll be like, oh my God, the book's so great. And then you let them know, I do speaking. See where we're going with this? Great. Write a book, turn it into a speech, make a list of 100 people, reach out and offer to give it to them for free, mail it to them with a handwritten note, build that relationship, because insider secret, most paid speaking gigs for bigger conferences, they normally have their speakers a little bit in advance. So maybe you just missed the cutoff. Well, if you build a relationship now, you could be considered for their next event. That's a huge way to build the rapport, build the relationships so that when they select speakers, you're top of mind, you're next. Okay, I can go down a whole rabbit hole here. But then you're going to give them a book, you're going to build that relationship, but make sure that as you're building this relationship, they know what it is that you do. It's okay to tell them that, hey, I wrote this book, I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements now, you would love to be considered, or do you ever look for speakers? And you can start to see if you're on the right track with the people that you just reached out to. Follow up with them over and over again, and then get booked. This is how I've done tons of speaking engagements. This is how we've seen a lot of our clients get speaking engagements. The key here, across the board, whether it's in pre-launch, whether it's during your launch, or whether it's post-launch, the key here is to write a really, really great book that you could talk about, solve a specific problem for the audience that you want to speak to, and then tap into your existing or a new network of people who hire people just like you for their events, and boom, you are going to be able to use your brand as an author. You're going to be able to use the credibility and authority that you have by writing the book to tap into the signature talk that you built based on the great book that you just wrote. And now you have an easy access point to people who can make hiring decisions for what you are looking to do. Now, we've had clients use this to sell tens of thousands of dollars books in their opening book launch month. We've had people use this to get their highest speaking fees after the fact that they launched their book. People now know about it and they get $8,000 for a speaking fee. I've used this to write my book, give it away for free, and then get invited to speak on digital and in-person stages. We've had people use their book to then start speaking at live events and masterminds. We've had people write their book and use it to create their own retreats and events. The possibilities are limitless, but it starts by writing a really, really great book that you can solve a problem for somebody, and then you can make sure that you can talk about that based on the book in an engaging, exciting way, sharing stories, which should all be in the book, and then you should be able to leverage that. Whew. I know that was a lot, but I hope that you found a ton of value in seeing that no matter where you're at in the book stage, you can absolutely have a ton of success with your book and land paid speaking gigs. So here's my challenge to you. Here is my challenge to you. If you are not already writing a book and you want more speaking engagements, my challenge to you is to decide, are you going to write a book to speed up this process? That's my challenge to you. If the answer to that is yes, then reach out to us and we would love to support you. Go to bigideatoBestseller.com and you can grab a time to speak with our team. We'll do a full game plan, create your entire roadmap for your book on this call, and then see if it's something that you actually want to be a part of and if we would even be the right team for you. Okay, would that help? And if the answer is no, you don't want to write a book to get paid speaking gigs, then I'm a little surprised you're still listening to this at this point, but I love that you're here. And no matter what, I want you to succeed. And if a book's not in your future, then go ahead and just crush those speaking engagements, okay? And then when you crush those speaking engagements, you'll realize, oh my gosh, I have all the content for a book. And then you can just start to create additional revenue streams and have so much more success. So I hope that this episode brings you the understanding that when you write a book, you can turn it into a keynote and get paid a lot of money, okay, and create opportunities, revenue on the back end of this thing. Have a great time. I'll see you on the next one. Take care and goodbye.